Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, both young and old. How are y'all doing today? I don't know about that intro. I'm not awake yet, really. Still on my second cup of coffee, and we're live already. So good morning, and words. We got John Brunell figured out his mic, so we can get him to say hello on cue
Or not.
or not.
Yeah. I'm here.
um, oh, my head's all messed up. All right, and of course, with me as always, Sully, the sidekick. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, welcome to church, everybody. Welcome to church. Let's sit down, praise the forge, pass the borax, and let's get this party started.
Yeah, how do Trail Dust, Paul Orchard, Dog Bone, John Burnell, I already said hi to you. Mr. Whitney and Mr. Pekka, and right. That's the people. I know what people will filter in. But yeah. So how's everybody's week been going? My week has been strange because people are strange.
Well, I've had quite the week, so to speak.
Hey, Rams.
Yeah, I had it. It's been shall we say great. Had a coworker come back on Monday, and had found out like his kid had been exposed to COVID on like Friday. Didn't have the kid tested. Curtis felt fine, and yeah, the next day did not feel so fine. The next day, my cousin didn't feel so fine, and that was the day that we kind of were messing around, and he leaned over and coughed on me. He's like, "There, now you got what I got," and I'm like, "Oh, thanks, man." And well, then the next day he tested positive for COVID, and I'm like,
Freaking.
That's been 3 days ago, and I've been stuck in my room for the last 2 days. I still feel fine, so we'll see. I've just been going crazy, locked up in here by myself. Well, I'm not really locked up, but I'm trying to avoid people just in case. And I spent yesterday cleaning, mopping, dusting, rearranging, taking out the trash, and yeah, I was completely out of stuff to do by 1:30 p.m. And I only woke up at 10 a.m. yesterday, so I mean, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do today after this is over. I'll just sit here and just like twiddle my thumbs and pretend that somebody wants to talk to me and go like that, I guess.
Freaking paper hands Ryan. What's up, Lonus, Boar, Mountain, Steve Parsons, how do, man? Dylan Corwin, how do? Devi, how you doing, girl?
Hey, Debbie, that's yeah. All right, I got the YouTube live chat pulled up finally.
Morning, Paul Orchard. Morning, Eric. Okay, now people are filtering in. Mr. Fontanini, how you do? How do? Yeah. Just remember, hey Wayne, my brain is not all up to par right now. Still feels like I'm asleep. So, Shane Lalonde.
Yeah, we totally needed an extra half hour before we went live, but we didn't have it, so.
Yeah, it's I don't know why. I'm having one of them days where it's, I don't know, set it to half choke and pull. I forgot to push the button 6 times.
Yeah, right. Well, this is not the place to talk about choking and pulling, so.
Or pushing buttons. I will drink a bottle of mustard to entertain you guys. Don't make me do it. People have to wait and see if it's safe before they come in. Dip their toes in and be like, hey, y'all okay?
So Yamez, what'd you do this week? I mean, we haven't touched base since.
Oh, I know.
A slight personal discussion on a separate matter, slightly after your Wednesday stream, but other than that, I mean, I have no idea what you did all week. Which is, surprisingly odd.
Yeah, it was work. We had some quick jobs, and then it was yard work. And I've been clearing the yard, getting, probably what I think I had 175 pounds of copper. What was it? 900 pounds of steel, and I think it was 140 pounds of aluminum that I brought to the scrapyard throughout the week. So it's pretty much been out in the yard, clearing, tossing in my truck, driving to the scrapyard. Just not to get the money for it, just to get the yard cleared. And now I'm on
right.
Yeah. Now I'm on machete.
Well, you need to be up on that because I don't want to have to sleep on top of that crap when I fly out there just for the weekend.
Right. Well, I'll put some pictures into the live stream here. We've got a tree by my shop that we need to get down because it is no es bueno. Here's the before. I think I shared that before. And I actually have to go into...
Yeah, I was thinking earlier in the week because I worked Monday. No, I worked Tuesday 20 hours. No, yeah, 20 hours on Tuesday, 22 hours on Wednesday, and that was my entire work week. 42 hours in 2 days. Can't beat a deal like that. Who wouldn't want to work 2 on 5 off, right?
Right.
But I got to thinking, I was like, gosh, maybe I ought to just do me a trip of the Eastern Seaboard, just fly in either down south or up north, rent a car, and then drive the length and stop by and see all the people that I know along the way, and spend a couple days at each person's house. I was like, man, that's going to be a long ass drive, and so I Google Mapped it from the furthest from your place to Steve's place, and it's 11 hours. I was like, well, crap. That's not even the same. It's farther across Texas than it is to get from Yamis to Steve. So that's totally doable.
Yeah.
In a day, even. So I was like, because heck, when I drove to Quad State, that was 22 hours straight through it nonstop. And of course, I didn't drive straight through it nonstop. The drive to Quad State took 2 days. The drive to my dad's house in Colorado took 2 days, and the drive from there to here took a day. But
yeah,
so when I went to Quad State, I spent 5 days driving, and I could just fly over there, and I wouldn't drive all the way in one shot, but because everybody seems to be about 4 hours apart, so I could just drive 4 hours in a day, spend a couple of days with somebody, and drive another 4 hours. And
well, it's 2 hours.
Quite convenient.
It's 2 hours me to Bob, 6 hours me to Hans, and yeah. And then from Hans to Steve, it's I think 6 hours.
And there are some other things along the way I want to see, like
Anson.
the Colonial Williamsburg thing.
I'd still like to get up to Colonial Williamsburg. They keep offering me a job. I keep getting emails.
Yeah, and it's dude, it's just right there. What I consider to be right there. I drive 4 hours to a job site in a day, so
yeah, it is. It's only like an hour and a half away from me.
Yeah, I want to see that. I probably want to go by. I want to go hit DC and hit the Smithsonian and National Air and Space Museums, things like that. And so there's lots of stuff to do over on that side. Kind of like when I went to New York City. There's always something you want to try at least once.
Yeah, in the so this is before I started. Sorry to. This is before I started.
No, I'm good. I was just filling time. Go ahead.
That's fine. I love planning. This is before I started. Under here, if you can't really see it, is a truck bed that had all the aluminum, some copper, and steel in it. If you see right here, there's a car dolly. Yeah. And this is all overgrown nastiness. We're cutting this tree down, so I got to clear up around it. Here's what I've got done so far. I've got it cleared all the way up to the tree. And all part of the cleaning process for the yard to achieve and this is all unused property that we have. I could kill this tree, get this tree out of there, and put a shipping container right next to the shop. A bunch of people popped in. Hey, Ben Strickland, how you doing? Robert Whitney. My week was like one step backwards every day, working on antique engines. Can't find parts. Need to take apart. Forgot to install part 1 first. Oh man. Aimless? No, Aimless isn't here. Ben Strickland's just talking about Aimless.
Ben, you and Matt are like 6.5 hours west of Yamez, right? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're Ben Strickland is very close to Voldemort.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's right. Yep.
John's sharing his weekend pictures, cleaning out yeah.
South. Oh well, I guess yeah.
Oh no, yeah, okay, south, yeah, South Carolina. South of him, yeah.
Sorry, I look at in my head. I think of where Yamez is at, and I think that's just a skosh above Florida, and
no.
So I consider him to be south, but
no, all y'all are northern to me, Yeah, all y'all are northerners to me. When you lived in the southernmost city of the continental USA, everybody else in America is northerners.
Right. And I did look to see where that was in relation to you, and I was like, nope, that's too far to drive.
What? Key West?
Key West. Yeah.
Oh, Key West. You get to Florida, and then you got like the rest of you got another day's travel. Like once you get to the top of Florida, you still got like another 10 hours to go until Key West. It's like,
because I was also thinking, I was going to do this trip around the 4th of July type area, and I was like, well, heck, I'll maybe I can plan my trip around the summer race at Daytona, and then like fly into Daytona Beach or something like that, and then drive up from there. And then I found out when the spring or the fall race was, and I was like, no, I'm not doing that at the end of August. I got a trip in September, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have, saw, will travel. John. I'll tell you, I've had so many people locally here offer to help and say, oh yeah, even traded some work for some people, and their trade-off for me doing like additions and shit and stuff for them, was that they were going to come over with some of their machinery and help me clear the lot. And going on 3 years now, and no hide nor hair of them, so I ain't relying on nobody. It's like, I think one dude came over once and just pushed some stuff around in my backyard, and that's about it. And it's like he's got a dump trailer, he's got a front loader, like a weekend with his machinery and his dump trailer, and we could have my entire lot completely cleared. And nope. And it's like, man, I built an addition for you. You owe me. And I don't think he watches the show, so I can say that safely. He actually moved, is the thing. He moved a couple towns over. So. Actually, Mountain Home Forge, working in the yard, I found what may be a Jeep buried on its side in the ditch. I found a Jeep tire with a rim, and it's got the lugs still on it, and roughly 10 foot away is another one, same thing, and sticking up and out. I think a Jeep fell in the ditch and got like kind of buried, and yeah. So there very likely is a vehicle buried in my yard. Well, that's the thing, Steve. He's more the closest thing to a friend I have in the area.
So what you're basically saying is your backyard is an accurate representation of the Johnny Cash song "One Piece at a Time."
Yeah. And you know how I always say,
it up one piece at a time.
And y'all know how I always say that I can't stick a shovel in my property without finding a oil filter. I found 2 while I was clearing out that area. Remains true. Hey, Bill Corey. But yeah, so yeah, that's been my week. Has been dealing with yard work and trying to get ahead while it's cold, and everything. And the snakes are down, the bugs are down, the ticks are down, poison ivy's all dead. So yeah, I've been beating the crap out of my yard. I got a lot of stuff to burn, but it's been windy, so I haven't been able to burn anything. What's up, Trail Dust? And as for organizing, I've had several of you contact me in one way, shape, or another, offering to come out for a weekend, and it's like trying to organize that is tough. But it is what it is. But yeah, so interesting weeks we've all had. Knows. Which brings us to
Medal of the Week.
Medal of the Week. Can anybody guess what it is?
Anybody at all?
Anybody? It's Chromium.
Yeah, this week's Medal of the Week comes to us courtesy of Debbie Theater. Last night I had ran it by her. I was like, "Hey, what do you think? I got these 2 ideas. What do you want to go with?" And she picked Chromium. So that's today's deal. Now, chromium is a very complicated chemical element. I mean, like, literally, I'm sitting here, like, while we're doing this, I'm reading up, because I read for like a half an hour last night on chromium, and was just absolutely, because it matters to me, I was absolutely fascinated by the chemical stuff, the electron shells and whatever, and, like the difference between trivalent and hexavalent chromium, one, of course, being okay, and the other one being really, really bad, and, a few other things with some radioactive isotopes. Like most of the radioactive isotopes of chromium have a half-life of less than 24 hours, and they decay into one of 2 stable isotopes. But in any case, the way chromium mostly applies to blacksmithing is it's used as an alloy in both stainless steel and a lot of tool steels, like what do you call it, 52100 or 5160, like we discussed before. The 5 represents chromium being the main alloying agent, and the 2 is how much of it there is, or the 1. And by the same account, it's a very prominent alloy in 4140, even though it doesn't really produce a very what's the word I'm looking, corrosion resistant properties in that case, or even in the case really of 52100 or 5160, just because there's not quite enough of it. And so in a lot of cases, the most common place we're going to come across just plain elemental chromium is when something is chrome plated, like say car parts or whatever, in which case, you know, it's basically just chromium chloride or something similar that I can't recall what it was, but where, you know, the parts are dipped in and electrically charged, and the chromite, yeah, there you go, just kind of sticks to it and on a molecular level, and you do that a few times and you get a nice thick coating of chrome, which prevents corrosion.
And I'm sharing those pictures you sent me too of the cars.
Yeah, another spot that it's commonly found is, for us, is like hydraulic, the rams in hydraulic cylinders. You look at those and they're all nice and shiny and chrome plated, and one often wonders, you know, if you stick that in the fire and you get it hot, are you vaporizing any chromium? You know, is that becoming airborne? Is that dangerous? Because if you are, is that trivalent chromium? Is that hexavalent chromium? And I mean, there's, you know, legitimate concern there, and I actually don't know the answer to that yet. So I would say no, just because of the melting point of chromium being like 3,400 degrees Fahrenheit. And I don't think you're going to be vaporizing any chromium, at least not in a conventional forge. Anyhow.
Right. Yeah, that's one of those like we talked about before, where semi-educated knowledge passed on as 100% truth, where people would consider, you know, chrome plating along the lines of galvanization, where, oh, it's bad to, you know, it is in fact bad to toss galvanized steel in your forge, and people take that as, go, anything that's coated is bad for your forge, but it's like, no, you got to look at what it's coated with, and, you know, I don't want to go too deep into it because I'd like to do zinc as a metal at one point too, but yeah, like using chrome-plated stuff around your forge, people are like, oh no, you're going to off-gas it and it's toxic and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no. No.
Yeah. And see, and another interesting occurrence of chromium is corundum. This is. I mean, I've known this for years because I'm retarded like that. But when chromium-3, trivalent chromium, is present in corundum, it's known as a ruby. It's what gives that particular sapphire its red color. When corundum does not have the presence of chromium, it's known as a sapphire. Even though both are technically a sapphire, chromium in the aluminum, what is it? Well, anyway, so when chromium is present in the matrix of the corundum, it's a ruby. So that's that's
neat stuff.
Just fascinating stuff. And
I have a ruby.
Also, some of the earliest uses of chromium was the discovery of a crystal in some Siberian mines, I think it was. It's I don't even I can't remember the name of it, but it's 1 atom of lead, 1 atom of chromium, and 4 oxygen, and it was used as a paint pigment for hundreds of years. And it, you know, kind of makes me to thinking, oh, lead-based paint, you know, that's where that came from. So, you know, there's a reason they don't use lead and chromium as a paint pigment anymore. And it's not because of the chromium being toxic, because in that particular case it is trivalent chromium, but it's that 1 atom of lead that's stuck on there that is potentially problematic when ingested.
Yeah, I used to eat lead chips as a kid, lead paint chips as a kid, and yeah, tasty at the time, but it doesn't go good with peanut butter. I don't recommend it. Stupid. I know. I'm sorry. Told you, not really all there today.
Yeah. And then, another usage of chromium is the chromium salt with alum, and it's used in the tanning of leather. So, in the finished product, chromium stabilized leather can have 4 to 5% chromium content. We're talking about leather, and it's 5% chromium. That's a lot. I mean,
that's metal.
That's more chromium than you find in spring steel.
Yeah, that's awesome. That gets me thinking. Now, no, I don't know how that would work. Chrome-plated leather. No, because, okay, all right. I've been having this, idea in my head, and I've actually been looking into it, of getting an alligator skin apron, and it's like you bringing up chrome-plated, chromium and leather, and it's like, chrome-plated alligator skin leather, Now that's some hardcore armor.
Right.
Let me see. Can you chrome plate your skin? Yeah, that's a good question.
According to Colossus, yes, you can.
That's some Greek mythology stuff right there. Colossus was a giant statue, right? Or are we thinking of the wrong Colossus?
I was thinking of the big silver guy in the Deadpool movies.
Oh, yeah. That's right. He's made of chromium, isn't he?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I was just he looks like it, but I mean, to be fair, adamantium looks like chromium to me too. So, but obviously, it's not.
Right. I do know that, Silver Surfer was silver, though. I do know that, like, certain metallic paints and such for painting, it goes back to that, the Wizard of Oz movie with Tin Man, the original Wizard of Oz movie, where the actor that played the Tin Man had, gotten, like, metal poisoning from, or, like, a heavy metal toxicity from all the silver paint that they used. So...
Correct.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine actually, I'm gonna galvanize my skin. Right. I'll be drinking gallons of milk for life.
Yeah, and that's that's kind of the rap that I've got on chromium. I mean, it's an alloying agent that gives us high corrosion resistance. Although not so much in our spring steels, just because of the low concentration. But it also adds a bit of toughness in some situations as well. So
I'd kind of like to learn how to do chrome plating in house here, because of those plaques that I make. I think it'd be really cool to do a couple of those chrome plated, And I've looked into it, and it's like kind of scary with all the stuff that you need. And it's like,
yeah, it's,
to do it right.
Because I want to say the chromium that you'd have to use to do that is hexavalent chromium, and that's not good. Because what do you call it? Trivalent is non-soluble in water.
Yeah.
And so like in with your chrome plating, you're using a chromium salt. Dissolved in water, usually water. I mean, it could be another solution, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, it's like I've looked into it, and from the simple like spray can chrome spray, which actually is chrome. It's just not a very adhesive. Like you do what you can to make it last, but it'll last anywhere from 6 months to a year. and then it will need to be retreated to a chrome bath. Going off of memory here, some sort of chrome bath which lasts, a few years, to like full-on chrome plating, which, if taken care of, can last forever. And it's like, if I'm going to be making these things to sell, and I chrome plate any of them, I sure as heck ain't going to be spray painting them for chrome and then selling them, selling them as chrome plated,
Right.
That would be wrong.
Yeah, we have a word for that down here, and I'm not going to repeat it. But
yeah, I can imagine. But yeah, it's like, eventually, yeah. Chrome is that
and
color.
I mean, it might not be, man, I don't know. I mean, some of the chemicals needed for electroplating are pretty darn serious and pretty darn expensive, and it's one of those things there. It's not really financially conducive to set up your own operation, because I mean, just the cost of the initial setup, the cost of if you're spending $5,000 on a 5-gallon bucket of chromium salt in solution, yeah, that's probably not the best way to go when you could send it off to an electroplating shop and get it plated for $50.
Right. Which I might do.
And another option there is that maybe you didn't think of is powder coating. You can send it off and get like one side powder coated one color, one side painted powder coated the other color. Same thing. It wouldn't cost that much because those things are pretty small and fit right in an oven.
Yeah.
I mean, a powder coating oven, but usually shops that do that, basically they can hang your whole car in there and powder coat it if you want them to. They got ovens that big, but.
Yeah, I'd have to take the seats out if I'm going to put my truck in an oven.
Yeah, I want to say baking your truck at 800 degrees would not be good for the seats.
Yeah, at least.
But I mean, other than that, everything else would be fine.
Mm-hmm. The electrical
most of the glass would stay horizontal.
Yeah, the electrical connections, the
vertical.
gaskets. Shut up, Yamez. Gaskets. Bye, Wayne. Long chore list? Yeah, me too. Speaking of them plates, I probably should work on the second one today. The marketplace for this.
Yeah. And I just found it. Corundum is aluminum oxide, Al2O3, and then when chromium replaces the aluminum, it's so aluminum oxide. That's what corundum is. I couldn't think of it earlier, and I was just like, ah.
Yeah.
And chromium is the fourth hardest element, I believe, behind diamond, or behind diamond and, or not element, molecule, behind diamond, corundum, and boron. So, and that's just something I read last night that I remember going, huh.
Oh my God!
Because I thought tungsten would have been higher up the list. I thought for sure tungsten would have been higher, but apparently not, because tungsten, while it does have the highest melting point of any metal, apparently it's not the hardest.
No, I'm the hardest. Metal. Shut up.
Generally, the harder they get, the more brittle they get as well. And tungsten's not very brittle.
Oh, I'm brittle. I'll snap at the drop of a dime.
Oh, I mean, because when if you got a tungsten ring, and it's stuck on your finger, they kind of like break it off.
Yeah.
It doesn't cut very well. Like if you get a gold ring and they've got like this little saw that like has a deal that goes underneath the ring to protect your finger, and then the little blade, and it'll cut through and they can separate the ring. With tungsten, it's more like, yeah, we'll just hit it with a hammer right quick.
Right.
I think. I don't know. I do know that I was told that if you get I don't know this to be true, but I was told that if you do get a tungsten ring like stuck on your finger, and your finger gets all big and thick and the ring is stuck on there, they can't cut it off. I was told that, but that doesn't really make much sense because diamond will cut everything, including diamond. So.
Was it? I saw the hydraulic press channel tried to press a diamond, and diamond was untouched, and it basically indented the press dies.
Welcome to the hydraulic press channel.
I love that guy. And here we go.
Oh, and we've got the glass put up, so we're perfectly safe behind the blast shield. Boom! Oh, that was not good.
If that guy were to ever pop in here, I would probably faint.
Right. Oh, his I love his that accent. It's so great. Him and his wife.
Yeah. That is such a fun channel. I'm out. Hope everyone has a great day. Catch you later, Dylan. Bloobs wants to know what everyone's doing in their projects. Well, I'm suffering through yard work currently. I have so much yard work I need to do. It's going to be tough for me to get out to the shop. Rather tough for me to justify stopping yard work to do work on projects. The dragon is currently on the back burner because the time that I do have in my shop, I want to be working on hearts to sell locally for Valentine's Day. But again, the handful of ads that I've put up, I've gotten a lot of likes and a lot of comments, but like not a lot of buyers because nobody wants to pay anything anymore.
I just now popped back into the chat, and Robert Linus is talking about Treadlehammer. I think it's Treadlehammer Forge. Is that it?
Yes.
I do recognize the sticker as I've got one on the side of my refrigerator. Apparently he works in the plating industry, so talking about people just bringing their stuff and hey, can you chrome plate this for me just real quick? I got a feeling real quick is not the way it works.
Yeah. Well, they show it on like some of them car shows and stuff. Like I've seen where like they're like, oh, I'm gonna send this off to the plater. Like them like car rebuild shows or like American Chopper. I used to see it all the time when I used to watch that. Like we're gonna send this over to be chromed, and it would like take 5 seconds. Of editing, and like, yeah, I'm at the chrome shop, and they just dip it into a solution, and then cut back to, yeah, we got this back from the chrome shop, and it's like, oh, it's that easy, huh?
Yeah. I did see it, Robert. I wasn't going to really expound upon it much more than that, but no need to rehash it. I'm sure everybody caught that.
Excuse me. But yeah, chrome plating. I'd love to play with plating. I did try copper plating at one point, and it didn't go so well. I came up with more of like a copper dusting, and
I had an interesting result in copper plating using nitric acid, which was one of those. I don't think I ever published the video. In fact, I don't ever think I finished editing the video. I did some experiments with different acids and how they reacted to different metals. I stuck a piece of steel in the nitric acid, and of course it did not do anything because the nitric acid is so strong that it immediately created an oxide layer on the steel and one molecule thick that protected it. However, when I introduced a copper scent into the nitric acid, which dissolves quite readily and violently, it left a copper plating on the steel, which I thought was pretty neat, but not very really practical for anything, but it was a neat result.
It's more practical for the decoration. After you finish a piece, to coat a piece with copper for the look of it, maybe.
Right. I mean, and for what I do, I mean, really the ground rod that I have that leaves that one, after you're done forging it, You brush it one time and it leaves that like one molecule layer thick of copper on it that gives it the copper look. I mean, that worked good enough for me.
Yeah. You want something to look like copper, you'll forge something that's copper plated, or forge copper.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's good enough for YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
They do
Robert
have
says
small
they
home
do have
kits.
small home kits.
Yeah. I've looked into them. I've glanced at them, and yeah. It's one of those things where it's like I'll probably, when I do get to that point, I'll probably either send them out or be rich enough from doing enough of them that I will have, both a CNC machine of my own and a full-on plating setup.
Right. Money, money, money.
Yeah.
Money.
Excuse me. Now, I would love to do a CNC machine, but I've been, the Landmere system is the most affordable, and I'm really not looking forward to putting one together. So, oof.
Yeah. Be about as much fun as building that. Oh, heck, I'm thinking of the same dang thing. Never mind.
It's about as much fun as building a Landmere system.
I was thinking of that CNC that Granddad's Forge put together, and he spent he bought it or whatever, and he got a box of parts with no instructions or whatever, so he just kind of had to scratch his head and figure it out.
Yeah, Roy did a build video on it too. Yeah, it's just like, Roy's talking about it. He goes, yeah, I mean, like there's a lot, like you've got to bolt everything together. I mean, even stuff that could easily come shipped in as one piece. It's like, I don't know. Copper-coated silver coins when I was a kid with a chemistry set. Nice. Got to use an engine lathe. Next will be a milling machine. Nice, bloobs. Robert, one side of those crypto plaques would look cool chrome. Yeah, absolutely. Doing one side chrome, one side copper or something.
Ooh, hey, that's a good call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the neat thing is I can actually no, not easily, because then I need to learn how to braze copper to steel, so that I can attach bolts to the back of a piece of copper plate and do copper cutouts. Uh-oh. I'm dropping frames. I'm in the red right now. We're on the spinning wheel of death. We're back for a second. Storm.
Fantastic.
Storm rolling through. Signal is dying.
Yeah, see, and then, well, I mean, I guess, because I'm only listening to the Discord, I'm like, everything's fine here.
Yeah, no, I got my monitor readout for, it's like not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, viewers will be screwed.
Right.
It looks like it's back for now. 1,400 dropped frames. Yeeps. Alright.
That's a few seconds.
Yeah, that's the bare minimum of what a good stream would be. Have to build a bracket for my post vise in order to make a spring for it. Yeah, you do. Maybe we can.
Yeah, I've done that a couple times, and with varying results. The first one I forged a bracket out, and yeah, I wound up throwing that thing away because it was a disaster all the way around. The second one, I just went with a piece of flat plate and I drilled 2 holes in it and stuck a couple bolts through it to the other side. And that's what I used to attach my spring. It worked fairly well. I think it's a couple like 4.5-inch 3/8 bolts or something like that. And because my post vise isn't actually connected to the one here at work. Well, actually, the only one that's upright, because my one at home, since I moved my shop into my garage with a concrete floor, the post vise is laying on the floor a year later. But the one here at work, I've got standing upright in one of my Uncle Buck's forged Pexo plates that I built a stand for and all that. And the square body of the post vise happens to perfectly fit inside one of those square holes in the Pexo plate, to where the bottom of it is just right at the ground. And it works out quite perfectly, and if I need to, I can just kind of tap on the post vise with a hammer and pull it up out of the way and move it. But
Yeah.
so far I haven't had to do that, because the side of the Pexo plate that I use is on the other end from where the post vise is, so it's basically just been sitting there since quad state. So
Hey, as long as it's usable. I've got a full post vise. I know Anson has been working on a anvil. I guess a saddle stand is what they're called, out of wood, where it holds the anvil and then it has a side for the post vise. We use them in our guild, and he keeps saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to bring it over. I'm almost finished with it." Again, years or a year. So
who's that?
Anson. But I know he's busy with his homesteading stuff.
Yeah, didn't he move to Texas already?
Did he?
I believe so.
Man, I haven't heard from him in a while. I don't know that he moved or not.
Yeah, I believe they moved to San Antonio.
Well, then I guess, see, I've been waiting to mount this other one, or to build a base for it.
I could be mistaken, though.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm so far behind in YouTube, it's not even funny.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I mean, if he's not doing that, then I can go ahead. I'm going to tear up my double post vise stand and rebuild it using a heavier, thicker, better plate at the bottom, and then do a solo post vise stand, so that I can have a single post vise to pull into frame for when I'm working right there at the anvil. Yeah, the dual post vise stand that I have is a great idea, and it works fantastic because it's everything is right there. I can 2 different size post vices and different heights, and so when you use one here, I'll like use it like attachments. I'll grip the grinder with it, or I'll grip the bandsaw with it and use it as a bandsaw table, and then and then move over to the other vise. Having 2 right side by side is nice.
So I've got the only project I've really got in the works right now is the last time I was home, I brought back my lathe and my lathe tools and some pieces of mesquite that I stabilized and added some color to. I think I got like 3 pieces. 1 piece is purple, 1 piece is red and blue, and the other piece I believe was blue. But for some reason, when I went to bake it in my little toaster oven, for some reason I was thinking of heat treating it, and so I baked it at 400 for like 2 hours, 4 hours, and I walked out into the shop and it smelled like I was running a smoker in there, and I was like, wait, what the heck's going on? I was like, you're not supposed to temper the wood. And so I Googled it real quick, and it's like, 200, not 400. There's a big difference.
Yeah, I mean, at least double.
Yeah, so that one is fairly brown, and it cracked a lot, and so I filled the cracks up on it with epoxy, and I'm probably still going to throw it up on the lathe and see what it looks like after having been, for all intents and purposes, tempered,
cooked. Adios, Eric. Hey, Michael Robertson, how you doing? Yeah.
See, Eric.
I'm using a U-bolt. and welding it to a flat plate to mount to it. Bloobs, I'll tell you this: don't over-engineer anything. Cobble together whatever. The mounting plate is just, unless you're going for recreation, just whatever holds it in place. U-bolts are fine. U-bolts are absolutely fine. It doesn't need to be fancy. Heck, it doesn't even need to be forged. And a mild steel works fine for a spring.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a fact. I mean, like all of my stuff is not even close to trying to look like original stuff, because both of my post devices came without any of the hardware, like the mounting brackets or spring or anything like that. So I've had to make all of that myself. And yeah, I'm not trying to make it look like an original post device. If I was going to do that, I'd just wait and troll Quad State and buy the parts there. It's like, oh, hey, that looks like the right mounting bracket, yada yada yada, whatever. But I mean, literally, I over-engineered and overthought the first one, and I literally spent like 6 hours heating and bending and punching and all this to make a crappy bracket that wound up not working very well. And then when I did the second one, it's just like, I'm just going to take this little piece of plate that's already the right size. I'm going to drill 2 holes in it. I'm going to cut out this other piece of plate to be the same size, drill 2 holes in it. Went over to the shop, grabbed a couple bolts, a couple nuts, lock washers, boom. Bob's your uncle. The spring is attached. And, yeah. And in hindsight, using that sheer steel spring kind of seems like a waste of some really high quality material. But, by the time I figured out what it was already built. So it's still there.
Right.
Piece of 200-year-old Sheffield steel.
Sheffield. Yeah, I'm looking at Anson's channel.
Bloobs, the half-inch thick and 2 inches wide, is not gonna work. I tried building my very first one out of a piece of mud flap hanger, which is 5/8 square, and I hammered that thing out to about 3/8 thick, and then widened it out so that it would wrap around at the ends. It would kind of wrap around the post vise so it wouldn't like slide out. And I mean, like I got it all nice and like just the perfect bend in it and everything, and I heat treated it and I stuck it in there, and I could not close the vise. I mean, it was just way too stiff, and I was like, well, that is not gonna work for me. And then I made a second one out of smaller material that was just mild steel, and went to all the trouble, and then I closed the vise, and then when I opened the vise, the spring like stayed compressed. Like it just, instead of like springing back, it just like bent it, and so there was like no pushback on the spring. And I was like, well, crap, I cannot win. And so that actually this one that's on my vise now that I built out of that shear steel, which is basically wrought iron that's carburized, whatever. We went over that in the shear steel episode, but it's basically spring steel, and it's heat treated and tempered and all that, and it works fine. It doesn't open the vise as far as I would like. I only get about 3.5, 4 inches before the spring stops. But if I make it any more aggressive, it's very difficult to close the vise all the way. And so considering most of the stuff that I do is smaller than 1 inch, if I need to open it wider than that, I can just run the screw out and grab the vise and pull it out.
Yeah.
I prefer the ease of closing to the spring pushing it open as far as it will go.
Yeah.
And that's just my way I do it. So.
Yeah, I think I used unheat treated spring steel for leaf spring for one of my vise springs, because that's the bar that I happen to grab, and the other vise springs are mild steel, and they work fine. Mild
Good morning,
steel.
Clara. I see you popping in there.
Hey, what's up, Clara?
So you used mild steel and you used unheat treated spring steel, huh?
Yep, and it works fine. I've had zero problems.
Bloobs, are you're saying using a truck spring and stretching it out? Are you talking about like a big truck spring or a pickup? I mean, because I've got a couple Kenworth springs, and I shudder at the thought of having to do something with those, because they're like 3/4 of an inch thick. They're pretty scary.
Yeah. John Burnell, I don't think was John Burnell at Quad State? I don't remember.
I do not recall.
I think he was supposed to be, but couldn't make it.
Yeah, and Trail Dust was at Quad State, though.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
That's where I got the bulk of my current.
So was,
you were there. Okay. I apologize if I forgot who I met.
Oh yeah, no, and I know, and I remember specifically standing there in front of the people that make the aprons, talking to Trail Dust and asking him what his name was, and saying, "Please forgive me because I'm gonna forget."
I know what his name is.
You know, and literally a week after Quad State, I'm like, crap.
Yeah, I was there. I talked to all you.
Yeah, okay. I can't remember sometimes. You know, there's so much happens at Quad State. It's like, yeah. I love meeting everybody. It's just I can't remember I have that brain that just forgets everything. Oh man.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You're talking about a big ass coil spring. I don't know. I mean, like I've done that. I have made one out of, but I used 1/2-inch coil spring, and I used the end of it where it's like shaved down flat, and so like one end of it is pretty thin, and I started with that piece. So, yeah, a coil spring will work. It just depends on how much you want to work it down.
Yeah, my says a brain.
Michael, Dogbone Knives saying, Michael, start with the low heat, eating the crayons as if there's moisture. Oh, melting the crayons. My bad.
I eat crayons and lick windows. Sorry. Clara, take care with that heat. I've been there before. No heating, and having to use the oven.
Be
that
careful
sucks.
with that too.
And yeah, I'd love for everybody to head down to Quad State. Clara, I'd love for you to head down. That'd be great. Meet everybody. Keep meeting me, and maybe I'll remember you.
There you go.
I'm horrible. I
was just going to say you guys just didn't remind me because I was reasonably normal.
Yeah. It's like I know Bill Corey looked like a dang cowboy walking around. Excuse me. And I remember Trail Dust because he was walking around with his brother.
Yep.
And I remember Robert.
He was walking around with his wife, I believe.
Yeah. Cheryl, if I recall. John Burnell, I think. I think I do remember you. I think I burned my brain cells on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I didn't wait for New Year's. I took care of that, every day since. Trail Dust. My brother has been talking about Quad State since the drive home. Yeah, that's pretty par for the course. I know. For us, our little group. We talked about it continuously for 2 years. From the first one all the way up till the second, all the way up through the second one, it's just like, and then the third one didn't happen, but
we still,
the third year didn't happen, but yeah, it is a blast for sure, and I think probably for me one of the best parts is meeting all the people and talking to the different people. Especially when you recognize them from being in the live streams and whatnot, it's always fascinating.
Mm-hmm. It's just the trouble of faces to names after the fact. You know, I'm bad.
Yeah.
I'm personally bad with that.
See, and like right now, I could put Robert's face to name, and I could put Trail Dust face to name, or face to YouTube channel name, but not first name. It's just like I thought there was an Eric in there somewhere, but I'm probably mistaken on Kevin. God dang it! Not as easy to remember. Well, no, I mean because no, well, I guess you're the only one I know. So yeah. But see, I should have. I don't know. I'm just bad with names, and yeah, I really hate that, and I find that to be troubling. That because I feel like people find that to be insulting that I don't remember their name, and
yeah,
and
I mean no offense by it,
and I don't either. It's just it takes me a while, and once I've got it, I've got it. But sometimes it takes a little while, and it takes a certain amount of interaction before I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, because like I've been working here where I work for 8 years, and we've probably gone through 800 people in the 8 years I've worked here, and I might remember the names of 10 of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because there are people that have worked here that I've never even spoke to, and you know, people will be like, oh, you remember so and so, right? And I'm like, no, who's that? Well, they worked here for like a year. I'm like, nope. Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, thanks, Robert. You guys were the coolest people to approach. Well, thank you.
I appreciate that. We try.
Yeah, but our little group is, you know, we at one point we were pushing to be like a big thing and a force to be reckoned with in the blacksmithing community, and we kind of purposely pulled back on that. You know.
Yeah, we kind of let that go, and now we're instead of having all that structure, we're just a group of friends that like to get together and party once a year, sometimes twice.
Yeah. And that's Robert Lonis. You're so friendly. I felt like I've known you all for years. Yep, that's pretty much you know, it's pretty much accurate. You know, for you know, this small community, you know, that we've created around. You know, our channels. Excuse me. It's like y'all have, you know, been in the chats between my channel, Roy's channel, you know, and Sully's channel, and you know, all the other channels. Like, we all talk like once or twice a week, you know, for the past several years. So of course.
And even like coming up to the first quad state. I mean, like we all started interacting in like March of 18, and then you know in September we all just showed up and met, you know, and so I mean, and it was you know, it wasn't just our group. I mean, it was a large part of the YouTube blacksmith community that showed up Quad State that year, and you know, don't get me wrong, everybody didn't make it, and you know, some people made it the next year. I mean, it was an interesting time because we all felt like we knew each other, and even though we'd never even met.
Yeah. John Burnell. I walked up and said, "Hey, I'm John Burnell," and you were like, "Oh, is Steve here?" No, just me, chop liver. No, that's because I was gonna mess with Steve because of his freaking beard, you know, because just the month before he had ripped his beard off, and I was gonna laugh and point and make fun of him because that's what we do to Steve.
Oh yeah, huh? That's when he got it wrapped up in the wire wheel, huh?
Yeah, and we were just gonna make fun of him a lot. And we were all talking about it and looking forward to making fun of Steve. And I think that's why he didn't show. Whatever. Oh, John. And yeah, Trail Dust accosted me. He was driving by, slammed the brakes, almost caused a couple accidents, jumped out, gave you a hug, said, "I'm Trail Dust!" I'm so loved. But, yeah, you know, we're, what, 6 months away from, 9 months away from Quad State. Almost at the halfway point.
Oh, Robert Whitney made a good point there. Vice spring material on farm equipment, on the farm equipment, drag or weeder teeth are close to the size needed. That's actually a pretty good point. I hadn't thought of that, but that's almost right spot on. like as far as the thickness, and I mean, obviously you kind of got to reshape it a little bit, but
drop frames are rising. Sorry.
Rob Huff is great.
Oh yeah, Rob Huff's a teddy bear. But
he might look super scary, but he's a great guy.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I hate to do this, but for some reason my readout on my OBS, it's like the drop frames are just ticking up, and it's going from all green to yellow to red, then back down to yellow and up to red. So it's like something is going on with my my signal here, my service here, and don't know what it is.
Yeah, Yamez, that's what I'd say too.
It's got to be this freaking storm. Let me pull up my radar here, show you guys the junk crap that I'm dealing with. See if it even.
Clara says no issues.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My readout showing it choppy. 3,000 drop frames. But sounds like a good excuse. Yeah. I'll probably stay on for the after chat for a bit here, but yeah, I think the stream is pretty close to finito.
Kevin, we're gonna talk quad state so many times. It's that's kind of a once every 3 or 4 episode kind of thing that'll come up. So
yeah, we always talk quad state.
Don't feel like it's like we're never going to talk about it again. That's one of the high points of our year every year. So
yeah, absolutely. But I invite anybody who wants to shoot the stuff, hot mic, to hop into the Discord, Blacksmiths Church live chat. And,
the chat, because the chat goes on after the show. It goes a little bit easier because we've got a little access to a little bit better bandwidth without the live stream going on. So yeah, if you want to join in the conversation, hop into the Discord channel, and we'll be here for a little bit at least.
Yeah. So with all of that, let me just make sure that I have the invite in the chat in case anybody missed it, and I apologize for not being all gung-ho and ha 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 ha. The coffee didn't work on me this morning, but yeah, if anybody in the chat here, in the voice chat, has any final words to say, now's your time.
Yeah, no, well, I'd say Michael Robertson, stay away from the beach up there, no reason to, well, I don't know, maybe you could go watch, but then go, oh, crap.
Oh, yeah. Yep. But, yeah, everybody be careful out there. Weather's being weird, so...
Yep, y'all get out to your shops, make something, wear your PPE, and try to stay warm. Some places it's cold, some places it's hot, but yeah, for most of the audience, it's a little chilly right now. So try not to freeze your little digits off.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, I will see you guys in the after chat, and peace. Take care. All right, everybody. All right, bye.
Global warming is killing me.
Oh, no.